how it was happening. The KK rider had two people at the two sides in front of the KK.
I will confuse them to come to the market.
Congratulations to the media. You have done incredible work.
In then it will show you what it does.
The Senate observed that PPP has consistently engaged in underhanding.
Position, you don't know hey, we'll get to go for Africa.
When your brother is producing something and you patronizing your brother.
Listen to Planet 101.1 FM News at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. with our news in special English at 2:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Planet Radio 101.1 FM, evolving around you.
It's the news at noon. In the news, federal government says Nigeria now accounts for 33% of Africa's gas reserves. Health workers demand salary structure adjustment. Member representing Essien Udim State Constituency, Prince Akpabio, facilitates immediate past governor Udom Emmanuel on 57th birthday, says Udom's legacy of peace and industrialization revolution remains unforgettable. On the foreign scene, Russia targets Kyiv in drone strike ahead of NATO Summit. And in sports, South African runner Semenya wins appeal at European Court of Human Rights. Details of this and more coming up shortly. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. I am Mary Joseph. We begin this afternoon with an update that the federal government says Nigeria currently accounts for 33% of the total gas reserves in Africa. While disclosing this through the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission, NUPRC, it's added that the gas reserve in Nigeria could last for about 94 years. The Chief Executive Officer, NUPRC, Benga Komolafe, disclosed this in Abuja at the Nigerian Association for Energy Economics 16th Annual International Conference with the theme, Energy Evolution, Transition and Reform, Prospects for African Economies. He said it was important to note that oil and gas would continue to guarantee energy security for Nigeria's massive population, estimated to be about 200 million. He noted that over the last 2 centuries, the world had witnessed the evolution of various energy sources, from the traditional biomass to coal, oil and gas, hydropower, wind, solar, blue hydrogen, and other renewable sources. Further speaking, Benga stated that the global call for decarbonization and increased focus on cleaner energies had provided the avenue for Africa to diversify its portfolio while leveraging its abundant oil and gas resources for energy security and economic development. In a separate development, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, has engaged the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, to monitor its projects in tertiary institutions across the country. The body also noted that it would also improve student accommodation in institutions through public-private partnership. The Executive Secretary, TET Fund, Sonny Echono, made the disclosure while presenting a 30-seater bus to NANS in Abuja. Echono said TET Fund was also committed through constant dialogue with NANS to meet students' needs, noting that they were the center of any policy of education. On his part, the national president of NANS, Usman Baramu, commended TET Fund for donating the bus following the request to President Bola Tinubu a few weeks ago. To Health Matters, the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, NUAHP, has called on the federal government to implement the high-level body technical committee's report on the adjustment of the consolidated health salary structure to avert a resumption of the recently suspended industrial action by the joint health sector unions. This was contained in a communique issued at the end of the union's 8th quadrennial National Delegates Conference held in Abuja. The communique, signed by the president of the NUAHP, Kamal Ibrahim, and the General Secretary, Martin Igbunubi, stated that to reduce the brain drain in the health sector, the government must provide adequate funding for the sector, improve the working conditions and welfare of healthcare workers, and create a decent work environment, among others. NUAHP said any adjustment to consolidate medical salary structure must always be carried out on CONHES in line with the collective bargaining agreement that established the two salary structures in the health sector in 2009. Promise that the Anti-Graft Agency will sustain its partnership with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, UNODC. According to a statement by the Commission spokesperson, Wilson Uwajarin, Choko also said that the EFCC was committed to working with critical stakeholders in the actualization of UNODC's mandate in Nigeria. The statement said Choko stated this during a meeting with the UNODC country representatives, Oliver Stopo, at the EFCC corporate headquarters in Abuja. Speaking at the event, Stopo said he was at the EFCC office to felicitate the new leadership of the agency. He reminded the EFCC boss that Nigeria should demonstrate leadership at the upcoming COSP by presenting an overview of the implementation of the UN Convention Against Corruption. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has inspected the international market project at Eket local government area in his determined efforts to reinvigorate economic activities and provide a conducive environment for traders to engage in their business ventures. In an interview with Government House reporters shortly after inspecting the market, Governor Eno, who stated his commitment to completing the project to underscore his campaign promise of taking over project executed by his predecessors and ensuring its completion, emphasized that government is a continuum. He acknowledged that the COVID-19 pandemic halted the project in its advanced stage of execution, stressing that it must be completed and put to use to enable the state government rid the streets of traders, which had become nuisance to the beauty of the metropolis and pedestrians.
So we need to ensure that this project gets back on track. I promised during my campaign that we will complete all projects that are not completed by my predecessor, my boss. And so I think it's in line with that promise. You can see the extent of work here. If we leave it, it will begin to decay. So we must put it to use. Before we can clear the people on the street doing street trading, we must give them a better alternative.
Earlier, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Investment, Oliver Odupo, who conducted the governor around the project, explained that the market, built on 2 floors, has 2,800 stalls and a large parking space to accommodate the customers and traders coming for transactions in the market. He hinted that the government would sublet the stores for those engaging in various businesses on a 30% discount after the initial token paid to acquire the shop, which is expected to be repaid in 5 years.
The number of stores that 2008. From the ground floor to the first floor, parking, there is a space behind. There is a space behind to be cleared for cars to park. It's big, but government will take part of the store, and government is going to buy it for the citizens. 30% of reserve for Akpabio people. The people that are coming to sell, to use the shops, will pay a token, and then the government will recoup the money from them.
Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that the governor was accompanied by top government functionaries, including the Deputy Governor Dr. Akoni Yayin, Secretary to the State Government Prince Enobong Uwa, and the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Trade and Investment Oliver Udupo, amongst others. Away from that, the member representing Essien Udim State Constituency and Chairman House Committee on Business, Rules, Ethics and Privileges, Prince Udom Akpabio II, has facilitated with the immediate past governor of Akpabio State, Udom Emmanuel, CON, as he marks his 57th birthday. In a statement personally signed by the lawmaker, Prince Akpabio said he is pleased to join other well-wishers to felicitate with the former governor as he's clocks 57, stressing that the story of his life has been a testimony of God's love, grace and benevolence, even as he has over the past years used the many gifts and blessings of God upon his life to bless, uplift and inspire many in Akpabio State and beyond. According to Prince Akpabio, as governor of Akpabio State, from 2015 to 2023, Udom Emmanuel served diligently and rekindled the can-do Akpabio spirit under his Dakada philosophy and strategically laid the foundation for the state industrial revolution in line with the dreams, hopes and aspirations of the founding founders. He observed that the former governor's legacy of peace and industrial revolution remained unforgettable as they provided the foundation upon which all other successes emanated from, describing Emmanuel as a visionary, creative and futuristic leader who loved his people and laid the foundation for the state's industrial growth, economic development and prosperity. Prince Akpabio prayed for God's continuous blessings upon the former governor and wished him many more years of good health, peace and fulfillment. He, however, urged him to continue to be a source of hope, blessing and inspiration to many and wished him a happy and fulfilled 57th birthday celebration. In another development, the paramount ruler of Eastern Obolo local government area, His Royal Majesty Ubon Elder Harry John Iteto Ilile IX, has called on the people, especially the youths, to shield their swords and maintain peace following the recent unrest in some parts of the state occasioned by the mapping issue. The royal father gave the charge while addressing a peace and unity rally in the area organized to propagate peace among the people and sue for calm to enable the new administration of Pastor Moino wade into the matter towards finding a lasting solution to it. The monarch expressed optimism in the administration of Pastor Moino to fulfill his campaign promises to the people and attract meaningful developments to the local government, which he described as the governor's second home. While urging the governor to carry Eastern Obolo people along in his administration, the traditional father described the people as peace-loving who are ready to cooperate and support the state's government to give them justice in their agitation. The traditional ruler used the occasion to assure Sterling Global Company operating in a community of cooperation and a conducive and peaceful environment for them to operate and charged them to ensure that they also live up to their social responsibility. On her part, the member representing Eastern Obolo Ikodabasi State Constituency, Selina Upatu, charged the youth to embrace peace and give peace a chance for meaningful developments to take place in the community, while also calling on them to share in Pastor Moino's vision to develop the state and the area in particular. She assured them that Eastern Obolo is on Governor Umoino's priority, lest the development, and solicited their support to the state government by remaining peaceful and law-abiding. In a paper titled Conditions Precedent for Community Growth, the former member representing Eastern Obolo Ikodabasi State Constituency, Sir Adisi Umbolum, on his part, identified peace, strong leadership, ability to embrace change, education, citizens' engagement, and access to community resources as some conditions necessary for community growth, adding that no community can succeed in an atmosphere of crisis and rancor. He further explained that for the community to grow, they must embark on what he described as the regeneration of characters and way of doing things. Also speaking, the representative of Sterling Global Company Limited, operating in the area, Engineer Ahmed Gosh, commended the community for their peaceful disposition and cooperation so far with the company and sued for more while assuring them to be socially responsible. Earlier in his opening remarks, the chairman Isnobolo Peace and Unity Rally 2023 Planning Committee, Sam Okoima Esquire, had said that the event was organized to promote peaceful coexistence among the people and to chart the course of development of the area in line with Governor Umoino's peace and prosperity initiatives. He noted that Isnobolo is determined to key into Governor Umoino's Arise agenda for sustained development to take place in the area and called on the people to embrace peace, while, according to them, is the foundation of Umoino's administration. Meanwhile, youth of Isnobolo, in a charter signed by various youth stakeholders in the area and presented to the paramount ruler DPO and representatives of Sterling Global, resolved to put an end to the restiveness and embrace peace in line with Pastor Moino's Arise agenda and for the development of the state. In his response, the chairman of Isnobolo, Elder Abraham Idiong, who was represented by the Vice Chairman Peggy Ibele, commended the youth for accepting the message of peace and demonstrating serious commitments towards maintaining peace in the area by the peace charter signed by the youth leaders. The well-attended rally, which featured a peace carnival, cultural display, and the media parley, amongst others, saw the people committing to creating a peaceful and conducive environment for the development of their land. You're listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from our foreign, sports, and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
What's in a woman? Women carry a worth more prestigious than fine stones. We are landmarks of triumph and integrity, humility, beauty, God-implanted power and poise. Women always have to be strong, for often our meekness is misconceived as weakness.
This woman's weakness is love.
Every Thursday, 11 to 11:45 a.m. The Woman's Diary on Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Don't miss it.
Many thanks for staying with us. Now, on the foreign scene, Russia has reportedly attacked Kyiv in an overnight drone strike, causing minor damage as NATO leaders prepare for a summit focused on supporting Ukraine against Moscow invasion. Kyiv military administration said on its Telegram account that the enemy attacked Kyiv from the air for the second time this month. Kyiv Interior Minister said drone wreckage has been located at an undisclosed location in the Kyiv region. According to a report, NATO leaders will grapple with Ukraine's membership ambition today at the summit in Vilnius. Their determination to face down Russia boosted by a breakthrough in Sweden's bid to join the alliance. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to head the Lithuanian capital to make the case that Kyiv has earned the right to join when the Crimean invasion ends. In sports, the European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, has ruled in favor of double 800-meter Olympic champion Caster Semenya in a case involving testosterone levels in female athletes. The 32-year-old South African was born with differences of sexual development, DSD, and is not allowed to compete in events between 400 meters and a mile without taking testosterone reducing drugs. Reports say that Semenya has been in a long-running dispute with governing body World Athletics since regulations requiring her to take hormone treatment to decrease her natural testosterone levels were introduced in 2018. She has twice failed in legal battles to overturn the decision. The case at the ECHR was against the government of Switzerland for not protecting her rights and dates back to a Swiss Supreme Court ruling 3 years ago. The victory for the 32-year-old is largely symbolic as it does not call into question the ruling by World Athletics and does not pave the way for Semenya to return to competition in the 800-meter. On the entertainment scene, Hawaiian pro surfer Mikala Jones has died at the age of 44 following a fatal accident while surfing in Indonesia's Mentawai Islands. Jones was known through the surfing world for his mesmerizing videos captured while riding inside the breaking waves, offering a unique first-person perspective into the art of tube riding. It's been the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. In the news this afternoon, we brought you reports that the federal government says Nigeria currently accounts for 33% of the total gas reserves in Africa. We also brought you reports that the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, NUAHP, has called on the federal government to implement the high-level body technical committee's report on the adjustment of the consolidated health salary structure to avert a resumption of the recently suspended industrial action by the joint health sector unions. Meanwhile, we reported that the member representing Essien Udim State Constituency and Chairman, House Committee on Business, Rules, Ethics and Privileges, Prince Akpabio II, has felicitated with the immediate past governor of Akpabio State, Udom Emmanuel, CON, as he marks his 57th birthday. On the foreign scene, we told you that Russia has reportedly attacked Kyiv in an overnight drone strike, causing minor damage as NATO leaders prepare for a summit focused on supporting Ukraine against Moscow's invasion. In sports, we reported that the European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, has ruled in favor of double 800-meter Olympic champion Caster Semenya in a case involving testosterone levels in female athletes. For comments and coverage of a newsworthy event, call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. You can visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. You could also like our Facebook page at planet101fm Uyo. The news was edited by Jane Uwa. As we end the news, the bravest thing you would ever do is continuing to live your life, even when you feel you want to die. Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind, rather be led by the dreams in your heart and the purpose for which you were made a living being in the first place. I am Mary Joseph. Good afternoon.